everybody, welcome to my channel. I am reviewing this week's Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. This is part 2, and there was a lot of interesting things that happened this episode, so let's get into it. So the episode continued off from last week where Porsha got into it with Kandi and Kenya because she says that they never support her. And of course, Kandi was saying, I donated to your causes when you're on Celebrity Apprentice, so how can you say I don't support you? The reason why they had this argument was because Porsha, she's now getting anger management, and she felt like the ladies were making fun of her or attacking her, and she just went off, and she was like, I'm trying to better myself and blah, blah, blah. So that's how it started off. So when the question came up about Porsha's altercation with Cynthia and Kenya, Porsha said that she apologized to them both. However, Kenya said that she didn't.
I've never gotten an apology for that, so that's not true.
As a grown woman meeting you, I acknowledge that happened.
No.
So even though Porsha acknowledged her wrong, she didn't really officially apologize to Kenya. So yes, she does need to apologize to Kenya. Even though Kenya was provoking her, she still has to apologize for putting her hands on other people, because she did the same thing to Cynthia and she did the same thing to the girl in the back alley. So, you know, Porsha, she needs to really work on her anger. And that's what she's doing right now, because she has to worry about her brand now. So she can't be acting a fool anymore. Now, I find it interesting that Porsha was saying that the girls were bullying her. I found that very interesting, to say the least. And Phaedra, she was the one who said that she felt that Porsha was being bullied. Now, I find it ironic that both Phaedra and Porsha say that she was being targeted and bullied, but Porsha brings upon a lot of the scrutiny on herself. The reason why the girls judge Porsha and criticize her is because in the past she has started physical altercations with people. In this past season, she has spread lies upon people. I mean, the lies that she spread about Kandi this season, that is bullying. And Phaedra was also a part of spreading those lies. In fact, she's the one who started those lies. And both of them were being bullies this whole season. So this whole victim act is just pointless. And I'm glad both Cynthia and Kenya checked her.
Okay, do you think I bully you in a group? Because I don't really feel like I bully you in a group either.
Was she bullying Jamie when she chased her out the back door
Jamie's
and beat
not
her
here.
up?
Exactly, Kenya. So anyway, the conversation eventually shifted to Kenya's situation with Matt. Now, throughout the season, Kenya and Matt had a very tense relationship. In fact, Matt was very aggressive. He punched out her windows. He shouted at her. He also punched out a driver, I think. I think he slapped him. He slapped a driver, and it was kind of terrifying to Kenya because she saw a very angry side of him. So on camera, they were always arguing with each other, and it just didn't look good at all. Now, I have to talk about Andy because Andy, he was being particularly messy during this segment. Just watch this.
Well, he said you had sex in his truck.
I saw him one time, I think.
So you did it in the truck?
Well, unfortunately, yeah.
I'm sorry, I laughed at this for a good minute. Anyway, back to the subject. Now, Sheree and Kenya did bump heads because of the comment that Sheree made about Kenya provoking Matt.
I'm talking to you because you do provoke people. What's going on with you and Matt? I mean, he's breaking windows. Obviously, she provokes a lot of people.
Now, the reason why Sheree brought that up is because she was defending Porsha. Kenya was saying how she was scared and nervous about Porsha's anger. And then Sheree was like, well, you're in a relationship with Matt and you're tolerating Matt. Why aren't you scared of him? Now, as far as her provoking comments, let me tell you, I've been saying this for a while. Kenya does provoke people. I don't care what her twirl fans say. She does provoke people. However, I will say in her situation with Matt is a psycho, okay? He's crazy. He has a lot of aggression. He's very quick-tempered. So when you have Kenya who speaks her mind sometimes and makes little digs sometimes, he will blow up. And that is the issue with them. They're not compatible in that way. He can't handle Kenya's comments. He is just too sensitive and too quick-tempered, so they weren't a good match at all. So that's why I don't agree with Sheree's comments that Kenya provokes Matt to break her windows. No, Matt breaks her windows because he's crazy. That's it. Now, another issue that came up is the fact that Kenya revealed that Sheree had an abusive past. Now, this was a secret that Sheree was keeping for a long time, and it was a secret conversation that she had with Kenya a while back, but Kenya exposed it on national TV because I didn't know about it. But I mean, I'm sure some people did, but I didn't know about it. However, Sheree denies the secret conversation that they had.
You said that you and I had a deep conversation?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, so you're saying that person told you?
I'm not going to say it was that person. I'm just saying I did.
Sheree tried to play it off, but Kenya brought up the conversation they had at lunch one time. So she was like, oh, well, never mind. Now, in true messy fashion, Andy brought up the fact that Kenya has a boyfriend. Now, Kenya wanted this to stay between Andy. However, he ended up exposing her secret, just like she exposed Sheree's secret on national television. See how that works?
You have a new boyfriend.
Well, that was between you and me.
Okay, so let's talk about Phaedra. Throughout the season, Phaedra was going through a divorce with her husband, or ex-husband, Apollo. Now, in the state of Georgia, if you are married to a person who is incarcerated, the divorce proceedings can be as short as 2 months. So, it only takes like 60 days to get a divorce from your partner if they're in jail. However, it took a little bit longer for Phaedra to get a divorce from Apollo. And as you learned in the reunion, Apollo is now contesting the divorce.
So why is he contesting the divorce?
Exactly.
Well, why?
I don't know, because I've already paid $100,000 to him. So
the reason why Apollo is now contesting the divorce is because Apollo wants more money. Now, Apollo says that Phaedra makes up to $1 million a year. So he wants a piece of that coin. And the reason why he's now able to contest the divorce is because the judge decided that the divorce was unfair and he nullified his divorce from Phaedra. And if you want to know why the judge did that, is because Apollo wasn't informed of the final hearing where the divorce was granted. Also, the judge was extra upset when Phaedra intentionally misspelled Apollo's name on the documents. So now Apollo is able to get back and try to fight for some more money from Phaedra. Now that's what Phaedra doesn't want us to know, okay? So in the discussion, Kandi's mother was brought up. So Joyce went to see a lawyer because she felt that Phaedra was lying about her divorce. So she wanted to see a lawyer and ask how much time does it take to divorce somebody who's in prison. Now, Mama Joyce was being very, very messy, and she knows it too. And even Kandi said that she was wrong for doing that.
Was a fine line crossed when she went to see a lawyer about Phaedra's divorce?
Yes, it was. She shouldn't have did that.
Now, Phaedra talks about how Kandi's mother says a lot of things about her, and she was just shocked by it. And she called her actions deplorable.
it's been so many things that her mom has said and done. I mean, it's just to the point I'm like, wow.
Now, Kandi was like, really, girl? What about the stuff you said about me? What about all the lies you spread about me? Let me just say this. Kandi was wrong this season for exposing Phaedra's business. Now, she exposed the fact that Phaedra didn't divorce her husband yet. That's what she told her mother. And she also talked about the fact that Phaedra was messing around on her husband with Mr. Chocolate. So Kandi was running her mouth a lot this season. However, Kandi was doing that in retaliation to Phaedra. Now, Phaedra was still holding this grudge against Kandi because she felt that Kandi was taking Apollo's side during their marital separation. You know, when Apollo went to prison, she felt that, well, Kandi and Todd were taking Apollo's side. This is how their friendship ended, actually. And Kandi didn't go as hard for Phaedra because Kandi knew that Phaedra was messing around with another dude while she was with Apollo. And I'm not going to make Apollo seem like the victim here because he was also cheated on Phaedra as well. But yeah, that was what was going on. And because of that whole situation, Phaedra has never really made amends with Kandi or Todd. In fact, she had a very deep grudge against Todd and Kandi, to the point where she was spreading rumors about them around town and telling people not to use Kandi's business. Allegedly, she was in cahoots with this man named Carlos King. Carlos King had a huge fallout with Todd over some professional reality show that they had. They were working on together. I don't know if it was Hollywood Divas or not, but yes, they had a big fallout, and Carlos King has been spreading rumors about the Tucker family. And Phaedra was taking these rumors and running with it. I mean, that's how deep her disdain for Kandi and Todd is. Like, she wanted to ruin their reputation, just like she tried to ruin Kenya's reputation when she thought that Kenya was messing with Apollo, which turned out to be a lie. Phaedra holds deep grudges against people, like unbelievable. And if you cross her, she's the type of person that can be very vindictive. If you cross her, she will come at you in the worst way. And she made it a point to rub shoulders with all the people of influence in Atlanta. Not only that she could look good, but she could also gain power and use it against people that try to come for her. And not to mention, she's a liar. A low-down liar.
Your restaurant that's not open, she could be working on that.
We're opening this week, sweetheart.
Are you?
Yes, we are.
Let her know, Kandi, and let the people know how she tried to stop your business moves by calling up her lawyer friends to get at you, allegedly. But let the folks really know what's going on. I know a lot of stuff is going to come out in part 3 because Phaedra does a lot of messy things. And I mean messy.
Obviously, she's talked to somebody to try to like do stuff to have them come at me about bullshit.
I'm that powerful?
Very vindictive.
Am I that powerful? No, you're not. Don't inflate your ego. You're just very vindictive, like Kenya said. Girl. Anyway, Kandi and Phaedra continue to argue, and they argue about Kandi's ex-employee, Johnny. Now, Kandi said that Phaedra convinced Johnny to sue her, and she was convincing her lawyer friends to take his case. Now, in this situation, I think that Phaedra was just doing her job. I don't think that she should take the blame for Johnny trying to sue Kandi. However, Kandi did bring up a point that Johnny stopped working with Kandi early last year. So she said it was kind of odd that 8 months later he would try to drum up a lawsuit against her. And she just feels that Phaedra was talking in his ear and like, yeah, Johnny, you better do that, Johnny, sue Kandi. But once again, I don't think Phaedra should take the blame for that because Johnny himself is the one who wanted to sue Kandi. And currently, Kandi is countersuing Johnny for defamation and slander. So Kandi is working overtime trying to defend her character and trying to defend her business reputation. Now moving on, Phaedra's divorce was brought up and people were asking why she's so secretive about her divorce. Because it's her prerogative and she doesn't want to reveal information about that. However, she did bring proof that she finalized her divorce with Apollo. Now, it's really hard to trust Phaedra because recently, I think last month, they said that the judge nullified their divorce because of the lies she was telling and how she was misspelling Apollo's names on documents and how she wouldn't tell him about the final divorce hearing. And Kenya actually brought it up.
She shouldn't have changed the names on the petitions.
How do you know? Are you still talking to him?
You're not divorced.
In this episode, I'm telling you, I was so here for Kenya going tit for tat with Phaedra. I mean, she made Phaedra look dumb because not only did she reveal the truth, Phaedra was being really defensive. She was like, oh, you want my man? Oh, you're saying this because you want my man? Well,
you worried about my man instead of finding your own.
Now, Phaedra, didn't you just say that you divorced your man? So he's no longer your man, yet you're still claiming him. What's really the truth, Phaedra?
But you're not worried about Apollo, are you, Miss Kenya?
I'm not worried about chocolate either, so focus on the truth. How about
focus
that?
On
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. Focus on the truth. How about that? I thought that was so funny. Anyway, Phaedra, she really thinks Kenya wants her man. She thinks Shamia wants her man. She thinks everybody wants Apollo. And it kind of shows how pressed she is. And she's so obviously jealous, and she still wants Apollo. She tried to comfort Kenya with her lame reads, but she failed, okay? She tried to say, no man wants you, and blah, blah, blah. But she failed. All of her reads failed. Everything she tried to come at Kenya with failed. Kenya was too quick with it, and I wish Kandi can develop that type of quickness when it comes to throwing shade.
You really rehearsed that one, girl. Let's give it up for the rehearsed read. Yes, yes.
Now, the last subject was about Sheree, and Sheree was talking about, her ex-husband, Bout, and how he abused her. In fact, she said that he was verbally, emotionally, and physically abusive to her. He also told her one time while she was traveling with her mom, he said, the only reason I wouldn't want the plane to crash is because your mom is on there with you. That is so foul. And it was just so sad to see Sheree in such an emotional state because she has been bottling up these emotions for years. She has never came out and said any of this. In fact, this is the first time her mother, her children were hearing about her being abused on national TV. And it's really sad.
Your mom didn't know.
My mom, my girlfriends.
Yeah, this part of the show was very sad, but it was also very important because it was almost like they were raising awareness for domestic violence. I pray that Sheree really gets over her pain of this. I know it's going to be a while because she's bottled it in for so long. And I'm sure she's been through a whole lot more that she's not telling us, but we just hope that she gets over it. I love the fact that the ladies consoled her and supported her, and they just set aside their cattiness for that moment just to support Sheree, and I thought that was great. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching this review. It's very long, but thank you for watching it anyway, and I'll see you next time. Bye!